Hey guys, welcome to the channel again, and we're going to answer another question today. Here's another great question from some of the past videos we've posted on this farm series.
Okay, DK asks, what made you choose a property which is a quarter section or 160 acres, so large? It's a big jump from the space you've lived in up to now. Yes. Just curious, as it seems that a lot of outspoken instructors like yourselves, Angelo, Eliadius, Brand Lancasters, and others have worked so much magic in a little amount of space.
Do you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, so in all honesty, we were not necessarily fixated on a certain size of property. Other than that, the property had to help us achieve the values and vision that we had ultimately set out for ourselves. And we recognized that there was a lot of different sizes of properties and configurations and shapes that might do that. And so our search was more about finding the right piece that would best allow us to, or thrust us in the direction of our values and vision most quickly, or most effectively for the money we were willing to spend on it. And we did look at 2-acre parcels. There was a few. We looked at a bunch of 10 acres.
We even looked at a half-acre parcel.
We didn't want it to be in a subdivision. That was important to us when it came to property sizes because of the bylaw limitations on even growing gardens and raising some animals, right? So that was more important to us than necessarily the size. Anything else you want to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, small spaces, you can do amazing things. Michelle hit on it really well there with the bylaw piece. A lot of people don't think about the kind of restrictions that you're going to have when you start with a property. We even have clients that have properties with multiple acres where there's land use bylaw and there's architectural controls, and then there's layer upon layer of regulation. And so one of the things that we look at for our clients and we get our students to look at is specifically the land use bylaw, which is what we refer to it up here in Canada. It has a different name in the States.
Yeah, or zoning possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe another name of it. So that was almost a bigger consideration than the size per se. Other than that, it had to be big enough for us to be able to, do some stuff. We needed more space. There's no question we wanted more land. Yeah.
And on top of that, there's a couple of other components to all of that. Number one, the city was crushing me. I hate noise, and you'll notice that there's no background noise in here. I mean, I have a dead cat on the microphone right now, but there's no wind either. But there's literally no noise out here other than the coyotes singing and the birds singing, and it's just unbelievable. So there's that piece. And then I'm a bit of a contrarian in that I don't think cities are sustainable. I actually fundamentally do not buy into that idea. There's a lot of the kind of new thinking, new age, new urbanist kind of thinking is get as many humans into as tight of a space as possible. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't live in communities and that we shouldn't live in towns and cities. There's definitely going to be a scale that makes sense. But when we actually look at the embodied energy of delivering high quality drinking water in pipes, electricity, there are advantages to having centralized infrastructure, absolutely, and there are cost efficiencies associated with having that infrastructure. So hence the desire to have density. But there are a lot of intrinsic issues with high density. And I should just state something right now quickly before you guys jump all over me. I don't think that Calgary is overly dense, and probably to its benefit in the long run if we do end up having energy shortages down the road. There's a lot of open space, there's a lot of green space that can be repurposed into other things. But when you start getting into really dense environments like Manhattan or downtown Los Angeles or even Vancouver, I have some real concerns about the sustainability, so that doesn't meet our values. And then in the event that there is any kind of food disruption, energy disruption, water disruption, we went through the 2013 floods. We were unscathed, our property, but you really got a sense of how fragile those systems are. They really rely on a lot of high density energy in order to move stuff around. And so we look at owning a little bit more land. It didn't have to be a quarter section. Just so happened that after 7 years of looking, we found this place, and it's amazing, and we're super happy with it. but we wanted a property that would allow us to be a little bit more self-reliant, as well as closely connected to individuals around us. And so we found a really great community here of people that share similar values, which is just hard to believe we found that in Alberta, but those pockets exist. Not that Albertans are bad or anything like that. It's just that it just was not what we kind of had this notion again that we had to go to British Columbia to find this, but we found it right here. And this place will allow us to grow all of our own food. Our kids have a playground to run around in, 160 acres. There's creeks, there's wood for heating, there's wildlife. It's just unbelievable. So it was more about, like what Michelle said, on identifying our values and vision, which we're going to do a whole video on in a few videos from now, and then testing that value and vision against different properties to see which one's stuck. And one of the pieces in our values and vision was not overextending ourselves financially.
Yeah, that was really important as well, to kind of keep our debt load, manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. I think that the people that are working in small spaces are doing amazing work, and we still actually are managing our small urban property in Calgary because Michelle's mom owns it. So we're going to continue to do demonstration there, but now we're going to try demonstrating on a slightly larger scale, well, quite a bit larger scale. And I think every scale has its merits. You just kind of have to choose what's important to you and then go after that. And so this was the next phase in our journey. Mm-hmm. Okay guys, hopefully you found that interesting. If you did, give us a like. Make sure you subscribe because we've got lots more videos coming out about this journey that we're on, and I know you're going to learn a lot as a result of all of the challenges, mistakes, and opportunities that we find along the way.
Yeah.